If you just want some tips to get things moving a little bit faster, then this might help you out. But this is pretty basic stuff, so it should be easy enough for everyone to follow along. Now, this is the first time I've ever done a panel like this, so if I start going too fast, someone feel free to just yell out, slow the hell down, or something. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of show you my process, going sort of step by step through a cel-shaded piece of work, and then I'll open it up for some questions that you might have. And after that, if we have time, I will show you how I kind of use that technique in creating my webcomic. This is my example piece. Bowser is a sexy lady. This disturbed many people in Artist Alley, and so I'm just going to use it. So the first tip I have for artists that want to do any work at all is it's really good to be organized. I like to keep my layers neat and organized. I label everything. I divide them into folders, and this will really help you keep track of what you're working on. And the more complicated you get with a picture, the more you could get lost or something can slow you down. And so it's great to stay organized. So the first step with doing a cel-shaded work is getting your line work down. And there's two different ways to go about getting a nice piece of line work. You can either scan in your sketch or sketch straight on the computer and then digitally ink your piece with a tablet. This is generally what I do, but it does take a lot of practice if you're not used to a tablet or if you don't have one. So another good thing to do is just have a clean piece of work, whether it's pencil drawing or if you inked it with a pen, and you can scan that in. And I can show you how to take that line work and separate it by itself, because it's important to have the line work on its own with no white showing in the background, because if you ever want to color just the lines or go back and change something later, this makes it much easier. So let me show you how to do that. This is just a little sketchbook thing I did. So what we have right now is something that was scanned in. The white is a part of the whole image. But, say we want to color just the lines and later we're going to color, underneath this character. A really easy way to separate just your black lines is if you, well, first it's good to copy this layer. And so you have that floating on top. Then you go to the Channels tab and Command select on the Mac or Control, or hold Control or hold Command, depending on if you're using Mac or PC, and click this channel. And what this does is it selects all of the white on this channel. Now when you go back to Layers, make a new layer, and turn that off so you can see, you'll see that it keeps that selection. Now, if you were to fill this right now, it fills in all of that white space that you selected. So what you want to do is inverse the selection, so you flip it, and then you have, voila, perfect line work without the white mess.
Wow.
So this is a really good, fast way to separate your line work, and that way, if you want to select that and just color that by itself, then you can do that and you don't have to worry about it. So, back to Bowser Girl. A really good technique that I use is to really get very clean line work and to make things go as quickly as possible. I like to divide my layers into of color into different sections. So the skin will be all one layer, her hair will be one layer, maybe her, her belly scales and her tail will be separate layers. And this is a good way of keeping things separate so that you can go back and edit and fix things later and you won't screw up what you already did. And the fastest way to just lay down the color that you want is to just go in there, and if your line work is clean, you can use the Magic Wand tool and just select all the areas of skin that you want to have one color. And it doesn't have to be perfect, you're going to have little things that you need to fix. Actually, let me open up, this is just the lines. We'll fill in all these colors. So yeah, what you want to do is be, on your line work layer, and I've labeled it line work so I don't get confused, and it's sitting at the top. So you can just go through and just select all of the areas that you know are going to be all skin tone. And then, label your layers so that you don't get confused. And then instead of just filling this, the color I wanted, I'm going to go to Select, Modify, and expand my selection by 1 pixel. And what this does is this just takes your selection and puffs it out by 1 pixel, so it'll butt up right against your outline, and therefore you won't get a sort of like fuzzy white outline from the what they call anti-aliasing. And so that's a quick way of just laying it down really fast. And you can go back with the brush tool, fill in what you missed, like so. And the idea is to perfectly get every piece of this color, all of the skin all together, so that when you start adding different tones, you can just, again, hold Command or Control and select that, and then add your shadows and highlights. And you can hit Command H if you want to hide those marching ants to get those out of the way. And that way, you can color and not have to worry about going outside of the line, and this saves a lot of time. So if you just have that selection, you can just run along this and not worry. You don't have to worry about having to clean it up later. You can just have fun with it. And of course, when you want to do shadows, you want to keep a light source in mind of one direction of the light. And then you can do the same thing with your highlights. It's just color. This is a great way to just fill in your big blocks of color quickly when you need them, and that way you can always just, if you need to add anything, just go back and select the whole thing. You never have to erase outside of the lines. And this is a process that you would just repeat with every different layer. So you do your skins, do the hair, and the all the different colors, and just slowly build it up. And remember, it's just important to, keep track of these things, and then say if you colored this whole thing and you want to change just one piece of it. Say, no, I don't like this going to be that color. Maybe she should be green because she's more of a reptile than I ever thought I could be. So, you can just select that